Welcome to Volvo Ocean Race Gybe Talking, your one-stop shop for everything you might have missed in the Volvo Ocean Race over the last 7 days. We're in beautiful Itajaí, Brazil, where the sailors are currently recuperating from a brutal leg 7. We have an amazing competition coming up at the end of the show, so make sure that you don't miss that. Make sure that you don't miss that. In the meantime, here's what's coming up in the rest of the show. This is Michelle, by the way.
Think you could beat it? So here's one for the fact fans. How many times has the race been to Brazil since it began all the way back in 1973? If you know the answer, send it in to us on #VolvoOceanRace and we'll retweet the best. Are you sure this doesn't bite? Now, if you've never seen Gybe Talking before, you've probably never heard of our game show that's sweeping the sailing world. Sorry, not sorry. The rules are simple. Tie as many knots as you can in 90 seconds with your hands behind your back whilst answering a round of quick fire questions. The world record holder is Turn the Tide on Plastics Annalise Murphy, who tied 11 knots in 90 seconds. Think you could beat it? We found someone who thinks they can.
I'm Richard Fryer, Head of Running Reading Department in the boatyard. I'm about to do the Sorry Not Sorry challenge. Not very confident, more of a splicer than a knot tire, but we'll see how we go.
The world champion right now is Turn the Tide on Plastics Annalise Murphy.
Right, okay, good.
11.
Yeah, that's quite a lot, yeah. I'm going to give it a go, but we'll see see how it pans out.
3, 2, 1, go. Spell boatyard backwards.
You asked me the questions like tying the knots is the easy part, because I can't really think about that while I'm tying knots. Boatyard. Can I actually have a picture of it? Then it'll be easier.
Next one. What continent are we on right now?
We are in South America.
Name 3 ingredients in lemon meringue.
Lemon, sugar. Not much of a baker myself. What do you have to say, Toby? You can help?
What's that? Baker?
What ingredients in lemon meringue? Sugar, lemon, water.
Name 3 Robert De Niro movies.
Al Pacino, Scarface.
It was De Niro, not Pacino. But anyway. What's the furthest distance? Itajaí to Rio or Cape Town to Durban?
Itajaí to Rio.
Name 3 parts of the Volvo Ocean 65 beginning with B.
Bow.
10 seconds.
Beginning with B. I think I got the wrong end of the rope here. Does it count if you do them in 2, 1?
Stop.
That's terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sort of 6.
6.
We can undo that.
That's
6.
a good effort.
Yeah, 5. It's pretty poor. It's not a good day for rigging.
You pulled one out.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's have a look. Got to try another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go.
Yeah, we can say. Yeah, that's not really a bowline, let's be fair. That's kind of like a, oh, maybe it is. I mean, a square knot, that is.
Do you think if we came and found you again in Newport, you might be able to do a better job?
Only if I didn't see you coming. Harry, it's your turn to take on the Sorry Not Sorry challenge. And yep, don't get any bullets, please. That would be great. Thank you.
If you thought that the closest you could get to sailing the Volvo Ocean Race was on a virtual reality goggles, you're wrong. You can follow the race all the way through 45,000 miles just by tuning into the sailors' social media channels. This is Crew Communicator Corner, where we go through the best of the content. Okay, so first of all we have this tweet by Turn the Tide on Plastic skipper D. Kafari. Turn the Tide on Plastic had quite a slow end to leg 7. But that does have its perks as well, and for them it gave them an opportunity to dry the clothes that have been soaked wet through for almost 3 weeks since leaving Auckland. I think in this case, looking at these socks, we just have to be thankful that we don't have smell-o-vision yet. Next up we've got Brunel's Carl Langford with a tweet, and we always talk about how cool the crew communicator is and how it's pushed the communication in the race forward, but I think this is a really good example because he's tweeted this from Point Nemo, which is the most remote spot in the world, where the sailors are closer to the astronauts in the International Space Station than anyone else on land. And what's really cool in this picture is it shows a bit of snow on deck too, so just in case racing through the Southern Ocean wasn't chilly enough, There's a bit of snow to test the sailors as well. This one's funny. This is Axo Nobel's Emily Nagel giving us a taste of life in the Southern Ocean. You might not know, when the sailors are at sea, they often work in 4-hour watches, 4 hours on, 4 hours off. Sleep is really precious down there at the bottom of the world, and it's really tricky to get an uninterrupted sleep, because every time there's a manoeuvre to do on deck, everyone has to get up and it's all hands on deck to get the manoeuvre through as quickly as possible and keep the team at top speed. That's not very good when you love your sleep like Emily does, and she just talks about it in this tweet. So Dongfeng's Caroline Brouwer rounded Cape Horn for the 3rd time in her career on leg 7. A really big moment for any sailor, but an even bigger one for a team, and particularly for the skipper Charles Caudrelier and navigator Pascal Bidegori, because last edition they didn't make it around Cape Horn. Just before they reached this iconic landmark, they actually dismasted and had to divert to Ushuaia. So for them, it's been something they've been waiting to avenge for, you know, almost 3 years. And I think that getting around there was a major thing for Dongfeng, a major thing for Charles, and it gave a few of the Dongfeng sailors a chance to tick one off their bucket list as well. Not everyone in the race has been around Cape Horn before, and actually for Turn the Tide on Plastic, over half of their crew were rounding Cape Horn for the first time. And in this Instagram post by Turn the Tide on Plastic's Lucas Chapman, you can see how happy he is to finally tick this one off. It's a cheeky selfie in probably the most epic place in the world, and we've even got our helicopter in the background. If you haven't seen the video about how we sent our media team down there to shoot the fleet going around Cape Horn, you need to check it out. It's on our social channels now, and we'll put the link in the comments. And then finally, just a little cute one by Turn the Tide on Plastic's Dee Kafari. And this time it's Liz Wardley who's the star, although I'm not quite sure she actually knows it in this picture. She's asleep. We've all seen Liz's round the world adventures with Barney and Wisdom, but it looks like she's sharing some precious bunk space with them as well. So it's fair to say they're probably the 2 most well-travelled cuddly toys on Earth. So there you have it. That's the best of the crew communicator content from leg 7. Don't forget to follow the sailors and the teams on their social media channels to keep up to date with all the action during the race time. Now it's that time of the week again, caption competition time. Last episode we asked you to caption this photo of Axo Nobel's Brad Farrand in the Southern Ocean. This week there's an altogether different challenge. Here's the photo we want you to caption. If you can think of a funny caption, send it in to us on #Volvo Ocean Race and we'll retweet the best over the coming 7 days. Now, one of the biggest changes for this edition of the race has been the introduction of drones. They let us see the boats from completely new angles, even in the middle of nowhere like the Southern Ocean and Point Nemo. And let's be honest, there's also a bit of healthy competition between the onboard reporters. So naturally, we've decided to put all the best drone shots into one feature we like to call Game of Drones. And you know what? This might just be the best one yet. Well, that's the best of the stuff from the boats, but we've also got something extra special for you to enjoy, and we think it might be a world first. This is drone footage of Cape Horn, from Cape Horn, taking you closer to Cape Horn than you've ever been before. After one of the toughest Southern Ocean crossings in many years, it's not just the boats that need repairs and recovery, it's the sailors as well, and that process starts as soon as they get to shore, with a beer and a burger just over there in the Sailors' Terrace. Here's a look at what happens when the sailors hit shore after 3 weeks in the Southern Ocean, and of course we never turn the camera off.
Well done, amazing. Good man?
Yeah, mate, very good.
Excellent.
Well, that's all from Gybe Talking this week. Don't forget to stay tuned to our social channels and our website for all the latest news and information ahead of the Leg 8 start. We've got 5 boats on the cradles here in Itajaí and 2, Vestas 11th Hour Racing and Scallywag, still on the water. It's been an extremely tough leg and we can't wait to give them a warm welcome when they arrive here in Itajaí.
I suppose just the experience, you know, sailing in the cold, day after day, the relentlessness of the weather, you know, it's grinding, really grinding, and it you know, makes you think long and hard about some of the things you do in your life and your mental state and everything else. And I think highlight and low light is that, the weather and the conditions. You know, blasting along at 30 knots is magic, you know.
This week claimed a good man in fish. Get back in there. It's that Hong Kong red. Oh, yeah.
He was incredibly happy. He looked incredibly fit, with a big smile on his face. He was just enjoying the experience of a lifetime ambition of sailing around the world in the Volvo Ocean Race. Fish was an amazing guy. He was incredibly patient as a teacher. He was really good with the younger people on board the boat. He would teach them how to do things better, how to do things smarter, how to sort of think ahead of the game. He was also great company.
Happy Valentine's Day, David. With the merengue.
Absolutely.
He could talk about sailing, he could talk about anything in the world. And he was also one of the most safety conscious people. He was always thinking about how do we make sure the boat is safer, the crew is safe, the welfare of the people on board. And he was really just the most thorough gentleman I've had the pleasure to sail with.
Hope everything's going well, mate, and hope you have a wonderful time.
Pretty much go to the waterway.
Happy Valentine's Day to Kirsten, the woman that makes me the man I am, and for supporting me with everything I do. So, thank you very much.
I suppose where I grew up and growing up with the love of sailing and watching the Whitbread start, you know, every 4 years out of the Solent. You know, it's one of those things you always dream of doing, and whether you ever get the chance is another thing. You know, if you're lucky enough to get the chance to do a race like this, everyone should grab it. I think, you know, it isn't for everyone, but you should always challenge yourself.